I've had several questions on how to apply the patterns and what blending modes I use. So I'm going to do this video to show how I do it, which is not necessarily the only way. First thing I do is I go down to the black and white circle, go to pattern, select the pattern that I want, and click up here, and in the scale I can change how textured the pattern is. So I'm going to put this down about like that, say OK, and as you can see over here now on the layers palette, that's where the pattern is, but you can't see through it. It's not doing anything. You have to apply a blending mode. So I'm going to go on up, and there's basically three you can use: darken, multiply, and you can see you get a lot more visible texture with multiply, and then color burn. And this creates a lot more contrast, but you can go in and change the opacity to knock that down a bit. I usually end up using multiply. Now, I guess in this case I would use linear burn and then tone it down a little bit. Now, as I'm looking at this, I might say, gee, I want more or less texture. You can still click right back here, and we can go in and we can change the scale of the texture, and you can actually see it change in the image. So this is really where the best place is to make your final decision on how coarse you want the pattern to be. And there it is. Now that's one method of using this. There's another method. I'm going to delete this. Just go through the process again. In this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this with black. So I'm going to click on the layer palette, the masking layer, and I'm going to go on up and I'm going to go to fill. I have black selected, and I'm going to say OK. So now it disappears. Now if you come over and you pick a brush, I'll just go with the one I have up there now, and I'm going to make it a little larger. And I'm going to take the opacity down, and you can bring and you can use this to bring in a texture. Now you can see up here in the masking layer what you're bringing in. Now I'm going to take the opacity, what already is up at 100%, but we'll really push it hard in here. Now if I turn that off, you see this is another way that you can bring texture in. This probably was not a great example of a texture to use, but it just shows you another way that you can apply a texture through a mask. That's probably a better example. And then you can again change the opacity of that mask and the modes. You can also go down and use other modes that will give you different effects. You have to sort of play with them just to figure out what they're going to give you. And again, you have to remember, it's how you mix it in. But these are the three that I usually use: darken, multiply, and color burn. And then again, remember, you can adjust the opacity. That's it. Oops, wrong way. Okay, there it goes.